These cute toilet paper tube birds are insanely easy to make, and yet they are so incredibly cute. I'm going to show you how to make all of these birds in just a matter of minutes. You can hang them, you can put them on a shelf. They're so easy to do. So let's get started. Press the ends of the toilet paper tube together like this. You can actually press them and bend them a little bit if you want to make like a feather accent. You don't have to. Either way that you do it, just go ahead and glue those ends together. Hot glue is going to be the most secure and the fastest, but you can also use a craft glue if you want to. If you use a craft glue, I would suggest using some clothespins or clips to keep it tight until it is completely dry. Then once you have that end glued together, flip it around and press those ends together in the opposite way, if that makes sense. One is going like horizontal, the other one's going vertical. Once you have them pressed together, trim that into like a curved face head area with your scissors. Doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, kind of made mine a little uneven right there. So I went back in and trimmed it up a little bit. So once you are happy with that, take the excess toilet paper tube cardboard that you just cut off and cut out a beak. I just cut it off of one of the corners and shaped it up just a little bit. This is going to be the bird's beak now. And then glue that beak with a point facing out about halfway through that bird face or bird head. You want to do it at the widest point right there. So I glued down that cardboard beak, and now I'm going to run a line of hot glue all across the opening over the top of that beak, and then I'm going to be pressing this side down together and holding it until those edges are glued securely together. And now you have a bird. I mean, it is literally that easy. So I'm going to show you some variations right now. So I took another cardboard tube and cut it so that I had a bit of a flat piece of cardboard. And then I just cut out a feather and go ahead and hot glue that down. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no perfect way to do this. It's all based on your creativity and what you are feeling that bird should look like. So I'll cut another one of those and put those out on the other side of that bird. Now this is another variation that you can do. Before you glue the tail together, put a glue or a line of hot glue there, and then put some feathers in. These are some decorative craft feathers that I put in. I'm going to show you how I got some feathers from chickens and made a chicken bird. That's coming up in just a moment. But just put those feathers in there, glue them, and then run some glue on the other side of the end of the toilet paper tube. And again, just press those together until they are secure and staying together. Now, if you would like to have a feather on the top of the head, especially like if you're making a chicken or just want a decorative feather, then go ahead and cut that rounded area. You're going to want to cut it so that there is an opening on the top of the tube. Like you wouldn't want the feather to be at the opening and kind of sticking out like a unicorn horn, like weird. You want it to be that you cut it deep enough so that you can have that feather sticking straight up at the corner of the face. Then put that feather in with the hot glue, attach the beak. In this way, I'm doing yet another variation. I cut 2 triangles out and I'm gluing a beak on each side, and you'll see why in a minute. And then just like before, I run some glue all over that and I press the edges together. And that leaves a beak that I can open and paint and just a little bit different. So these are my sister's chickens, and I wanted to make a chicken bird, and they had tons of feathers all around their cage, so I used their feathers and I made a chicken, and that was pretty fun. I'll show you that at the end. So now I'm taking a very thin paintbrush and some orange paint and painting those beaks. I like to paint the beaks at the beginning, then paint the whole bird, and then touch up at the end with a second coat on the beak. Now I'm also using some of that orange paint to do some decorative details on a bird that I had painted previously. You are going to want to have some paint to paint the entire bird unless you want to keep it natural. I'll show you that in just a minute too. A little bit tough to get the entire bird painted without painting yourself into a box. As you can see, like I'm holding on to it because it's not that easy to prop up and paint. So paint as much as you possibly can, and then you'll be painting your fingers into a box. Just let it dry. I'm also going to be painting on some wings. So you can paint on wings, you can glue on wings, literally let your creativity fly. That is definitely a pun that is suitable for this craft. Now, as you can see, I painted on wings and they are not perfect. You'll see that in just a minute. They are not even the same size, but it's okay. Like this is an activity where you just let your creativity go wild. It's a toilet paper tube bird. You don't have to stress about it. Don't worry, just have fun. So I put some polka dots in the wings to give it some, I don't know, some texture, some just fun, because polka dots, I mean, why not? Then added some texture to the ends. So this is one of those that I left not painted, just left it brown cardboard. I think it looks great as well. Just added some details to a wing. Now it's time to paint some eyes. So I use googly eyes on this chicken that I made with those chicken feathers. I think that is fun. Or you could use a Sharpie to draw on an eye. Just draw on a little circle. But I am going to be using some black paint on this one. And because it is a white bird, just doing a black circle as the eye. On some of the others, I painted a white circle first and then painted a black circle in the middle of that white circle for a little bit more definition, just to make it look a little bit different. And this is where I am painting on that little black circle in the white circle. You can put that black circle towards the side, towards the bottom, in the middle, however you want, but you can see how it instantly gives it some personality. So I did put a second coat of that orange on that beak. You can see that's why it looks so orange. If you are painting these birds, other than the detail accents, you're really going to need to put on 2 coats or a really thick coat because it's cardboard and it absorbs the paint. But on things like that, this where you're painting on top of a painted surface, you're probably only going to need just 1 coat. And I am just adding some feather accents. Again, do whatever you want to do. If you'd like to hang one of these birds, just make a knot loop with some ribbon, some twine, whatever you want. I knotted it at the end, and then I put a little dab of hot glue on the top. I personally put the knot on top of the bird because I like the little ribbons hanging over. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it whatever way you want, but it does create a really cute little loop that you can now hang the birds. You can hang them from a windowsill, make them into a mobile, ornament, whatever you'd like to do. Hang them from a wreath. I think that would be cute as well. And that is it. They're quick and easy and so inexpensive to make. And I actually really love this chicken that I made with chicken feathers from my sister's chicken cages.